Hello, friends. Good afternoon. Today, I am with a very important subject for all of you, which concerns in your day-to-day life. And that subject pertains to the independence of judiciary in India. You can see on your screen that the subject which I have chosen is regarding independent judiciary. Independent judiciary or independence of judiciary is very important aspect, indispensable aspect of any democratic system, not India only, but any democratic system, whether it be of the United States, whether it be of the United Kingdom or some other country. Similarly, in India, independence of judiciary is an issue which concerns the people of India. Because why I'm saying so? Because judiciary is the only creation in our constitutional system which can prevent your rights, which can prevent you from the onslaughts of the executive wing, which is very powerful. Though that executive wing is also the creation of the constitution, like legislature and judiciary. But the system of government that we have adopted in our country is that the people of India elects their representative, and uh, thereafter the political parties who achieves the majority in the elections, they form the government. And then that government basically works for the welfare of the people of uh, India. This is how the system works. And one important uh, aspect of this is that governments are formed to formulate policies to work within the framework of constitution and to formulate policies for the welfare of the country, for the welfare of the people of the country. And this is the constitutional mandate. Now, as we know that the executive part of the government has three wings. One is the judiciary, one is the uh, legislature, and third one is the executive. What executive contains? Keep aside the other two wings. Executive contains is comprising of the President of India and the bureaucracy of India. And then the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. These together constitute your executive wing of the government. And this wing exercised huge power, which is vested in them by the people of, so that this executive, the government, could work for their welfare. Now, for the last 10 or more years, we have seen that the system is uh, almost derailed from the constitutional path. Now, when this happens, when executive becomes a, an adamant, a recalcitrant, audacious, then what is the alternative left with the people of India? Because their object was to vote and to have government, was that this government will work for them, but it does not work for them. Rather, it breaches their rights, their fundamental rights, their legal rights, statutory rights, all sorts of rights this government or any government uh, breaches. But what is the alternative left with the people? Who will enforce their rights? That is the point. If such things happens or you face, I tell you very clearly, categorically, that the system of judiciary, the judicial system, the judiciary is created by the Constitution of India. We have constitutionally created Supreme Court of India, which is also known as Apex Court of India, the highest court in the judicial hierarchy. Then comes, in this hierarchy, comes the high courts, which are created by the Constitution for every state of India. Then the lowest in the hierarchy is the district courts, which are created in every state, in every district. Magisterial courts, the lowest hierarchy in the judicial hierarchy. So this system is created. Why this system is created? The system of judiciary is created to prevent your rights being violated, being breached by the executive, by the government. You know, today, the biggest litigant is the government. The maximum litigations we are having in the system is against the government because the government controls everything and there is likelihood of breaches of your rights, your statutory rights. Then, say for example, if this, I'm trying to make you understand that how important, inalienable the system of judiciary is. If we just, for the argument's sake, if we absent this part, then what is left? The dictatorship. And the doctrine of king can do no wrong becomes applicable. The moment this judiciary is deducted, minus from the system, then this will not be a democratic system. It may be any other system, but not the democratic system. You must mind it. Such is the importance of the judiciary. If we minus the judiciary, you will see Then the system other than the democratic system would be created, and arbitrary system would be created. There would be no check on that system, and the ruler in that system can do any wrong with the people. So the age-old doctrine of the king can do no wrong becomes applicable the moment you minus the judiciary. Such is the importance of your judiciary, meaning thereby that the system of judiciary in any democratic system has to be independent. Its independence is sine qua non. It's very important. If your judiciary is not independent, if your judges are not acting independently, you will see that your rights will be violated, breached by the executive very frequently. And you will not get the relief if your judiciary is not independent. Then what happens? Your system to somewhat, if judiciary is inactive, indolent, and not acting independently, you will see the system of democracy. It converts to a flavor of dictatorship. The person to whom the people elects, he starts behaving like a despot. It becomes a sort of despotic rule. You will feel when your constitutional liberties are curtailed, you will feel subjectively as well as objectively also. If, say, for example, if you are arbitrarily arrested by the police, then what is the alternative with you is? The only alternative you have is the judiciary. There is no other alternative. There is no other option. Who can rescue you from the despotic hands of the executive, from the claws of the executive? If no judiciary, you will remain behind the bars as long as the ruler desires. So you need to understand the importance of judiciary, the independence of judiciary. We cannot let in our democracy the judiciary to go indolent, inactive, and without any independence. So the Constitution has created three wings, and the system, the doctrine of separation of powers is there. Each system the Constitution has created, it checks each other. If judiciary is at some is not acting constitutionally, the other wings will have check on it. If other wing of the government is not acting constitutionally, the other parts, the other wings of the government will have check on that part which is not behaving like constitutionally. So this is such a system that checks and balances. The system of checks and balances is there. The three parts, the three wings of the government, they checks each other and they balances each other. So uh, constitutionally has beautifully created this system. But the unfortunate part of it is that this system is to be run by the human beings, and we cannot uh, say that a human cannot commit any mistake. Human can to err is human. So what I am trying to communicate is that the human, the man who runs this system has to be very efficient, philosophical, and people oriented. It does not mean that if you uh, hold some degrees, some UPSC examination passing like IAS, IPS, and others. The point is the system, the system of governance has to be operated, has to run in consonation with the constitutional principles. That is what which is important for all of us. No bureaucrat, irrespective of his position, can be allowed and behave in an unconstitutional manner. No minister or no person, howsoever big he is or she is, can be allowed, can be permitted to work, to operate in an unconstitutional manner. They all are constitutionally bound. Whosoever in the governance system is, they all are bound to behave constitutionally, to work constitutionally, to operate constitutionally. And they cannot at all detract from the constitutional lines. Now, the basic topic which I brought before you is regarding the independence of judiciary. Let's understand first what independence is. Independence means that you exercise your power which has been conferred upon you without the control of others. Because that is your domain to work. So the powers which is which lies in the domain of the judiciary, that has to be exercised independently. And I will add to it selflessly. So independence means without the interference, without any control from the other domains. So you need to be independent in your domain. Like executive has to be independent, legislature has to be independent, but this independence must be within the bounds of the constitution. It should not go beyond. Your independence does not mean that you will go beyond constitutional principles. Should remain within the bounds, your independence. So, do we think if we just assess the governance which we have faced over the last more than a decade, whether during this intervening period, the judiciary act independently? This question I leave to you, to the people of India. You decide on this. Whether during these 10 years of rule of BJP government, the whether the judiciaries, whether the judiciary, the judicial system, right from the lowest hierarchy to the highest hierarchy, from Supreme Court down to the magisterial courts, it worked independently, it functioned independently. So far as my experience is concerned,